Hello everyone, it's early July here in Gunnison and I'm sitting on campus and there's not a student or a professor in sight. It's pretty barren, so not much going on right now ministry-wise, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update on the last semester, just some of the highlights and some of the hard things as well. I never want these updates to just be good things and positive things, but to be able to really tell you the reality of what ministry is like in the highs and the lows. So I wanted to share some of that from last year, and then I'll send out an update closer to the fall semester about what you can be praying for as we step back onto campus. But yeah, so for last year, some of the highs were number one, just all the new faces that we had around InterVarsity, around our group. It had been really hard over the last 2 years to meet new students, mostly due to COVID and campus life being really thrown off by that. And so it was great this last year to have a lot of new faces, and especially freshmen around our group. It just brought a ton of life and joy to our community. But then even beyond just a lot of new people, one of the best things was there's a lot of students that came to real turning points in their relationship with Jesus and their faith. So I'm just thinking of two scenarios. There's one student who was already a Christian, but he felt like he experienced so much joy and life and care from our community that he wants to help spread that next year, and he wants to lead a group, a Bible study group, and help reach the students in his dorm. And so I'm going to be helping him in the fall. And so it was just cool seeing him come to that place and that decision. And then also we had a lot of non-Christians coming to our Bible studies and our events, and we saw several of them make decisions to follow Jesus for the first time. Or maybe they felt like they were, grew up in a Christian home but had never decided for themselves to seek Jesus. And so it was really cool to see them make that decision. And then the last thing that was just so fun for me was the trips that we had. So we had, for fall conference, we had like 12 students go from Western without Maggie and I, because we were waiting for a baby, and any day Harper was coming. And so that was a really transformative weekend for all of them. They all said it was a favorite part of their whole year in school, just meeting Jesus in the mountains for 3 days. So I was thankful for that, and then I was thankful for Mark Camp in the spring, that we were able to bring 7 students from Western and study the Gospel of Mark for a week. We had never brought any students to Mark Camp before, so that was incredible. So yeah, those were the highlights for me. There's other things too, but I don't want to make the video too long. But then to share some of the hard things as well. The first one just being having a child in September really changed Maggie and I's life a lot, and figuring out how to balance ministry work with that was a bigger challenge than I expected. I think I expected 3 months of difficulty and then everything would be back to normal in the spring semester, and that was not the case. And I'm realizing now that my life will never be the same being a dad, and I'll always have to put my daughter before my work and figure out how to do that in an effective way, and to be able to turn my ministry brain off and focus on my family. But that wasn't an easy thing for me to do this last year, especially in the spring. And so that was really hard. And then also, I think just getting 4 years into some relationships with students now, we got really deep into hard things in their lives, and that was especially true with our student leaders. We started off the year with 5 strong student leaders. They're all wonderful people, and by the end of the year, 3 of them had to not be leaders, all for different reasons. So one is transferring schools, one decided she didn't have the time in her schedule and her life to commit to leading InterVarsity, and then the third one we had to ask to step down, kind of for some life decision choices that she was making that didn't really align with Jesus and his values. So all 3 of those were really emotional situations and very hard for me. and hard for the students, but I think I took a lot of it on myself. So it was just a huge learning time, I think, of how to deal with really intense life situations, and to not be the saviors or to not try and fix people, but to really trust them to Jesus, and to be able to go home and take care of my wife and my daughter first. It was hard. It definitely got to the point where I considered not continuing in ministry, and I've spent the last 3 months trying to figure out if that is a good decision, and through talking with folks, through praying, I really do feel like I need to continue, and I want to continue, and I'm excited. But just be praying for me and for Maggie and for Harper that we could just figure out how to entrust students to Jesus, I think, and not try to save them or fix them or be their saviors, but to let them really seek God and to be able to just enjoy our family at the end of the day when ministry is over. So a lot of you that are pastors or in ministry know how this works a lot better than us, but we're learning, and it was a huge learning year, I think. So yeah, that's the good and the bad from last year, and that's kind of where I've been at the summers, processing the highs and the lows, and trying to figure out what God was up to in both of those things. And I've really felt stronger than ever that He's been really good to us, and that even in the hard things that He was there, even if I didn't feel like that at the time. And so, yeah, even just walking around campus today, I have so much hope for what's next, and I have a lot of ideas and things brewing that I'm not going to share because I'll send out a video later. But I wanted to give you this brief update so that you can praise God for the things that He's done and ask Him to heal some of the wounds that we've been feeling from last year. So yeah, I love you all. I appreciate you all for all you do to support us and to help us. We need your prayers, and we need your friendship and all the things that you give so generously. So thank you. Keep praying for us. I'm sorry this video was long. We love you guys. God bless you. We'll see you soon. Bye.